I have ear protection on, and that can really only mean a couple of things. Both of them actually happened. I just got finished mowing the grass. It's Friday evening. It's about 6:30 right now. I'm gonna actually get my chainsaw out and cut down the last tree that we need to fall in order to make room for our garden and let some more sunlight in so the clothesline dries. And it's been on my list of something to do for quite a while. I just haven't had time to get around to it until today. So we're gonna get that done today. Follow along, I'll show you how I go about cutting trees. I have seasonal allergies right now, so it's kind of hard for me to talk, but I'll show you about how I go about cutting trees, what the notch looks like, wedges, all that stuff, just to make sure that it's gonna fall away from the house. It should be a fun time. The kids always enjoy when this happens. This is usually what I bring when I cut down trees. It's my saw, some wedges, short wedges and long wedges, my axe to swing and drive those into the tree, some gloves, and I actually have my hard hat on. That tree right there is the tree in question. So we have the house, the clothesline, the wind is blowing out of the northwest, so it should take it straight back that way, which is exactly what I want to happen. It leans away from the house anyway. I'll show you what that looks like too, and then we'll get to cutting it. It's a basswood tree, which is a softer hardwood. We'll cut it up for firewood, but we probably won't use it unless we're burning early in the season or late in the season so that we don't get super hot fires. The house is over here. If you look up the tree, most of its weight is out that side. Those are leaning pretty hard. Got this main leader that kind of leans back to the house, but doesn't have a lot of branches on it. Most of the weight is on those two. And it's a big tree. There's a better look at the lean of the tree. It's coming out this way. I'm gonna shoot to put it right there. When I start cutting a tree, I usually just begin by making a scribed line around where I want the top of my wedge, which will be a Humboldt, and my back cut to be on the tree. That just helps keep my saw blade level as I start to cut into the tree. You'll also notice that I went around and cut all of the little sucker branches and the tall weeds that are growing up around the stump, just to make sure that it's clear for me in case I need to get out of there quickly for some reason. Then there are not a bunch of things at the base of the tree that could trip me up and put me in a hazardous, dangerous situation. There are guidelines on the body of the saw that will help to point you where you want the tree to go. So there I just finished scribing the line on the other side. This tree is large enough that I have to cut my wedge from both sides. So my chainsaw runs a 24-inch bar. This tree was probably at least 40 inches, if not larger. So I've got to cut my my Humboldt notch from both ends, and that's something I don't do very often. It's always a little bit more difficult and challenging to get your undercuts to line up properly. But as long as you have good hinge wood and you have no Dutchmen, which are like little wedges of wood that get left behind after you knock out the notch of your tree, which you'll see me do here in a little bit. then the tree should fall over no problem. And in this situation, I don't have any limb-bound things above me because it's out in the open in the yard. It's not tied to other trees with branches intertwined and things like that. So I really don't have to worry too much about it, as long as I make sure my cuts are good, the wind is blowing in the right direction, and there's plenty of weight leaning out against that, away from the house, that I don't have to be too concerned. So now I begin the undercut of my notch. Conventional notches are a flat cut into the tree and then a notch from above. And I have found that cutting a Humboldt style notch just seems to make the tree fall and cooperate a little bit better. It doesn't bounce quite as bad when it hits the ground. It seems like the top of the tree and the base of the tree fall off the stump at the same time, so they hit the ground and pretty much just stabilize where they are. Every few minutes I'll have to go in and adjust my notch because one is deeper than the other, or I'm trying to make sure that the center of the notch in the middle of the tree is straight all the way through, both in the straight cut and the undercut. You can see that's why I'm sticking the saw blade in multiple sections, multiple spots, because I want to make sure that they meet up as best as I can make them. I am running an Echo CS 590, also called the Echo Timberwolf. It's like their homeowner saw, similar to like a Husqvarna Rancher. It's right at 60 cc's, and I swapped for the 24-inch long bar instead of the 20 or 18-inch bar that come with the saw stock. It's a full house chain, Oregon chain, and I round file it by hand. In a later video, you'll see me go through the process of sharpening that. That's a skill that I really enjoy having mastered, because it just makes sharpening a chainsaw and having a good sharp saw always at the ready much easier to manage. So now I've gone around to the other side of the tree to cut the undercut on that side as well. It would be nice to have a big 70cc or 80cc saw. That's a much larger engine. But as a homeowner, that doesn't really make a lot of sense because I wouldn't have that many uses for it. Those are like commercial logging saws or tree work saws. This little Echo does great for me. So here I grab the axe because I think it's busted loose, but it's not quite. You can see the bark falls off. If that notch is actually disconnected from the tree sufficiently, hitting it with the back of an axe will actually dislodge it from the tree. So now I've got to go back and do what I would consider some cleanup work, just to make sure that the notch falls away from the tree properly. What I think has happened here is that my undercut met in the middle, but it did not come all the way up to where my horizontal notch should be. So there's probably a significant amount of wood in the center of the notch that's holding it to the tree. And I've got to go in and I've got to cut that away to make sure that I can actually bang that notch out of the tree with my axe. You'll notice at this point too that I am avoiding walking in front of the tree at all costs if I can help it, because the tree now has compromise. It's been cut a little less than halfway through, and you never know what can happen, but you don't ever want to walk out in front of a tree in the direction that you intend for it to fall. I come back and do some last minute cleanup on that side before I grab the axe, and I'll actually bang that notch out of the tree. You see it comes dislodged. So there's the wedge that falls out of the notch of the tree, dislodged. And now, as long as it looks clean under there, again, looking for those what are called Dutchmans, which it looks good to me on that side. Now I can go ahead and, once verified, make sure that I'm cutting straight, and I can begin to insert my back cut. I grabbed a wedge, a large one and a small one, just to have handy. And what I'm going to do is start my back cut on this would be the south side of the tree, because if I can help it, I want the tree to fall to the north. So I'm leaving at this point more hinge wood on the north side of the tree to hang on to and steer the tree as it falls in that direction. And I begin to work my saw around, keeping an eye looking up to make sure that the tree is not moving before I intend it to. You always want to look up because you never know, there could be widowmaker branches that are dislodged up there, dead or dying. I'm pretty confident this tree does not have any of those because it's so sparsely leafed out at the moment. But it's always good to check. And you want to look up once you feel yourself get close to the hinge wood being cut up to about 10% of the tree, because you'll see the tree start to fall more if you're looking at the top than if you're looking at where you're actually cutting with your saw. So I have put a wedge in there just in case to take up the width of the saw blade. That way it's acting like the tree still has wood there to support it from falling backward into the house. Again, I'm not concerned about that because of you can see the breeziness of the wind and because of the weight of the tree leaning out that direction. So I have my hinge cut. I'm going through and I'm going to punch out the guts, the middle of the hinge, let it fall over, and then get out of there. You can see how nicely that laid on the ground. The tree really didn't bounce at all once it hit the ground, and everything seemed to go according to plan. And you'll notice the kids are really excited. For whatever reason, they're infatuated with watching trees fall down.
It wasn't like spraying, just like...
Yeah, I know.
Are we allowed to climb on it?
Yeah, climb on that one. All this is called hinge wood. That's what holds it in place. Yeah, I've left a bunch in the middle to try to steer it one way. Took it right down to about 10% of the tree over here, a little bit more than 10% over here, and that kind of steered it away from the clothesline and everything else. But overall, that worked out perfectly. It's a big tree. So let's count the rings, huh?
Yeah! It's gotta be at least 100 years old.
I don't know.
Yeah!
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60 years old, 61, something like that.
Wow! How old do you think that beech tree is in the woods?
Old.
Bobby, wow!
I tried to walk you through as best I could what was going on at the tree while I was cutting out the wedge and putting in the back cut, but I don't have experience filming cutting trees, and I also just didn't want to take the time to move the tree around. It's kind of windy. You can feel that, hear that wind, I'm sure. And I didn't want to take the tree and get it out of the way. So We count up the rings. I think it's about 60 years old. It's a basswood tree, so it's a fast-growing tree. It's in the yard, doesn't have a lot of competition, but we wanted to get rid of that because right here where I'm standing is going to be where the garden goes. Now we've got a big open area where we can get plenty of sunlight down through the canopy, and that'll help the garden grow. It'll help the clothes dry on the line. Overall, it'll be just better. And now there will be just one more tree to cut up for firewood this year. That should give us more than enough to get us through the 6 months potentially that we'll be burning wood to heat our home. And that's a lot of sweat equity that's coming this summer, but we'll be prepared for it. So thank you guys for watching. As always, I appreciate you being here. It's kind of fun to know that you guys are watching and observing what's going on as I muddle through and potentially make mistakes and sometimes do things right. Hopefully you guys enjoy your day, and I'll see you next time.